Hey guys, the bot builder's back, and welcome to another robot showcase. A little bit of a Christmas special for you here today. So to anyone who's watching, Merry Christmas, and if you don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays anyways. Hopefully you all are getting like a week off, or in some cases two. I got 2 weeks off. But that's besides the point as well. We're here to, or at least I'm here, to showcase, well, some robots. Now, 2022 has been a really busy year for me, so I've not really been building that much, but I've still built quite a decent selection of robots this year. So I'm going to show them off here today. Now, this isn't going to be like other robot showcases where I sort of just do it in chronological order of when I built it. Instead, it's going to be in segments, and the first of those segments is updates, starting off with Mortis. Yep, so obviously not really a big change to Mortis. If you remember the previous version, it was pretty much the same robot, except the axe and lifter were extremely thin, so I went back and I essentially changed it. So the lifter is much wider, the axe is also much wider, and I think that should just overall make the robot a lot more effective. Because in test fights, the lifter, it just didn't do anything, honestly. So yeah, not really a big change to Mortis, but there we go. Another robot that didn't really get that big of a change is Turbo HD. Yep, I finally gave it 3D wheels. This might be a thing I do at the start of next year, is that I just go through all the robots that just have 2D wheels and I just update them, make the wheels 3D, just to kind of just make it more to my current standard of model making. But yeah, there's Turbo, not really much to say aside from 3D wheels. It's the same robot. Sorry if you hear some noise in the background. The next one, Greater Cat Requiem, has got quite a lot of changes actually. So I decided to ditch the wedge for two reasons. Is that I felt it was getting in the way of the spinner, and also the previous version, well, when I say previous version, it's the same robot really, but the older version, it kind of was a clone of Absolution, so I went back and updated it, replaced the wedge with two wedgelets, gave it some side carrot Shremex, which are a lot better than the previous ones. They're a lot bigger, they shouldn't be falling off constantly. But aside from that, it's still the same Greater Cat Requiem. Even though it doesn't really look that much like Absolution anymore, which is a good thing, because it now actually looks like its own original thing. But yeah, hopefully Greater Cat could finally win its first main series whenever I get around to doing For the Gold. More of that in a bit. Roadkill 2 as well. Yep, this is a pretty big update, and as you can see there, as I demonstrated there, Roadkill finally has a weapon. Yep, it's now a 4-bar lifter. Because if you remember in Umfrifka, Roadkill did absolute pants. It lost out in the first round. Should have said spoiler warning, but it's been out for like, well, since the start of this year, so you should have seen it by now. So I went back and I gave it a new weapon, a 4-bar lifter. And I'm not sure where you can see it in here, so I'm going to hold up to the camera. Got in clear bits of plastic as well on both ends of the wedge, so it should really be able to get underneath robots a lot easier now. So yeah, it's still the same good old pusher that we all know and hate, but now I guess it's kind of more like Storm 2, which is another pusher people know and hate, although that one's kind of more for justifiable reasons, which I'm not going to get into here. So yeah, those are all the robots that have been given improvements. Now we're going to move on to robots that I have shown off before, but I've kind of just rebranded them. So the first one, if you remember Heatwave, only had one fight where it ooted itself in the 12 Days of Christmas. I don't know, the robot was kind of a bit boring to me. So I sort of went back and essentially rebranded it. So now it's Blade's big brother. Yep, that's right. Yeah, so essentially the reason why I made this is because if you remember when I made Pit 2 Bull, which is essentially a modified version of Pitbull, the Series 3 semi-finalist, I thought, why not make the other two series semi-finalists that from Series 3 that never came back for another series? And this is Blade's big brother. Yep, it's essentially just similar to the actual one. It's got the same artwork and everything, but instead of a lawnmower blade, it's got a big spinning drum, and it can run both ways up. Yeah, so if a modernised Blade was made today, this is also what I reckon it would be like. Sort of just ironed out the kinks, invertible, got a big spinning drum on it. You will see what I've done to Trident later on in the video, so just keep watching. And then the other robot that I've shown off before, but has gotten a complete overhaul, is this guy right here. So, you guys may remember Rapture. Well, Rapture is no more, because Rapture is now Blastoff. Yep, this is Blastoff. And if you can tell, this is actually the sequel to Liftoff. And the whole Liftoff line, because, you know, Equinox, the Pre-Series 2 champions, is the predecessor to Liftoff. Liftoff didn't really have the same amount of success as Equinox, but now with Blastoff, I'm really hoping it can recapture some of that great success. Obviously used the same chassis as Rapture NG, because it's a nice chassis. I even gave it the clear bits of plastic and everything. It's got a big red flipper, very powerful, still got the space rocket designs and the stars and everything. And this will be in an upcoming video, a New Year's special, so yeah, stay tuned for that. It will be competing in it, so yeah. So now, we're moving on to completely new robots. And well, unlike usual, I've actually made 2 Kinect robots and a Lego robot, as well as some card robots. So I'm going to start off with the Lego one first. This is FullThrottle. So essentially with Roadkill now being a 4-bar lifter, I thought, well, there goes my top big pusher robot, that I don't even think I'm going to nominate for Pusher of the Year, if I'm going to be completely honest. So I thought, you know, to fill the void of there not being any rammers, I decided make a rammer, and this is FullThrottle, which I'm hoping is going to be the next top pushing robot moving forward. It's essentially a Lego robot. I don't really tend to make Lego robots that much, but I think this one came out quite well. It's sort of got a ramming dustpan, which is really low to the ground, can get underneath things very easily. And it's even got a self-righting mechanism as well, so if it gets flipped up and over, it can self-right. Yeah, or as how Jonathan Pierce would say, it has a Shremek. And also as how Jonathan Pierce would say, the armament is pretty durable for a Lego robot. I mean, I may do something to the dustpan, because it does come off quite a bit, but aside from that, it's surprisingly durable for a Lego machine. And hopefully it won't share the same fate as Speed Demon and have to retire because I lose some of the Lego parts. Yeah, I'm not happy about that. But I am happy with FullThrottle. And then as for the 2 Kinect machines, so the first one is the I've been like sort of just watching some old FMRW series, just kind of out of boredom really. And one of the ones I quite enjoyed is this really old series by Silver TARDIS called Cyber Wars. And one of the robots in there is Robo Harvester, which is very much a Barbarous style. It's basically just very similar to Barbarous. It's like a full-body spinning drum. So I thought, it's a cool design. Why not make it my own? It's a very simple robot to make, and yeah, I made it. I mean, if Silver TARDIS is still around, and someone knows him, maybe show this off to him, see what he thinks. I think I did a pretty good job of it. I don't think it's a perfect replica to his actual version, but I'm still quite happy with how it turned out. I'm not sure how it's going to fare in this arena, because, you know, the indent right there kind of messes up the rotary blades. So I probably won't use it for a fight until I move out, until I move house and get a new arena. But either way, I think it's just still a pretty good replica of it. The rotary blades spin quite nicely when it isn't when it isn't getting caught in the middle of the Hexbug arena. But yeah, that's Robo Harvester. Not really much else to say. And And if you haven't already, actually do go check out Cyber Wars. It is a very old FMRW series, but it is a good one. Yeah, it's on Silver TARDIS's YouTube channel. You could probably find it if you type in Silver TARDIS. And then the other Connect robot I've made is kind of a new robot from an experienced team. So you guys remember Scorpion, King Scorpion, Scorpion 3 and Forpion? Well, this is Scorpion Ultimate. Yes, and I have to say, I think this might be, I know I say this with every time I make Scorpion, but this might be the one that may make the Scorpion team actually be successful in Robot Wars Omega. It's basically heavily inspired by Splinter, with the grabbing arm and axe setup, which is also what the original Scorpion was meant to be. I mean, there's no images of the original Scorpion, but essentially just imagine this, but like Lego and crap. But now it's connects and good. Yeah, I mean, I did make another version of Scorpion Ultimate, but I didn't really like it too much, so I went back, heavily updated it, and honestly, I'm really happy with it. It even kind of looks a bit like a Scorpion if you drowned it into some rainbow paint, but you know what else can you do? But yeah, oh, and it can self-right. So yeah, really happy with Scorpion Ultimate. Out of the batch of robots I've made, it's probably my favourite. I say probably because there's one that does rival it. And then we come up to completely new card robots. Starting off with the American Nightmare. Now, all I'm going to say is, this is a reference to something. If you get the reference, good on you. If you don't, never mind. That's all I'm going to say. And yeah, it is a pretty simple robot. It's sort of just a low pushing wedge with a golden shovel right there, which is sort of meant to double as not only a Shreemec, but it's also a multi-purpose weapon, so it can double as a lifting arm, and also a sort of a grabber to hold robots in place while it pushes them around. It is basically a wedge robot through and through, and I am quite happy with it, even if it is a bit small. I don't know. I mean, if I go back and make it, I may make a bigger version of it, but at the same time, I am really happy with how it turned out. And I'm really happy with how the artwork went as well. I think it looks really cool, actually, and everything. So yeah, yeah, the American Nightmare. I'm gonna say this again. If you get the reference, you get the reference. If you don't, never mind. And now, I mentioned this robot earlier, but now I'm going to show it off. Here's Trident 2. Yeah, a pretty simple robot, but one I'm actually like quite happy with nonetheless. Sort of my updated, modified version of, well, sort of a modernised Trident, really. So basically, it's essentially Iron Ore 2.1, but minus the flipper, and it has an axe. I may give it a flipper, I don't know. Then again, I do have loads of flippers and not enough axes, so I might not. But yeah, I am overall like quite happy with Trident. May do some of the axes, it doesn't really have too much power behind it, but yeah, I'm happy with it. There's not really much else to say. It's a really simple robot, Trident 2. Oh, and just like the real life Trident, it's very shiny. And as Jonathan Pierce would say, the house robots do not like shiny things. I don't know why. I do not know why. He never said why. Now, the next two robots I'm going to show off together because, as some of you may or may not know, I'm pretty decent friends on Discord with Wolfie Productions 98 and Akimbi. And both of them decided to basically give me robots to make. So, first of all, this is the one Wolfie Productions 98 wanted me to make. This is Memebot, which is essentially a memebot from Brawlbots. Brawlbots Series 3 just started, so if you haven't already, do go check that series out. Yeah, it's not really much to say about it. It's just a really big flipper. A meme-filled flipper with top text, bottom text right there. It's a very powerful flipper. Got the coin underneath to weigh it down. Makes the flipper really strong and durable as well. Only issue is though is that it does struggle a little bit to self-right, but aside from that, I'm quite happy with it. Self-right, goddammit. There we go. And the other robot, the one that Akimbi wanted me to make, is quite a big one. This is Nessie. This is actually the last robot I've made this year. So, yeah. This is actually a robot he made in Plain Carnage, actually, which is a game on Roblox. And he wanted me to make it. So I did. It's quite a big robot. It kind of gives me, like, Series 4 vibes, but in a good way. With sort of the big chunky wheels, looking like a weird creature, and kind of looking a bit goofy. I do really like this robot. Like, honestly, like, next to Scorpion Ultimate, it might be my favourite I've made, just because the googly eyes are great. It's got some grabbing jaws at the front, which a lot can fit into it, so yeah, which is quite nice. So it's got grabbing jaws, and at the back, it's got a flipping tail, which is actually quite a decent weapon. So honestly, this robot I can see being a dark horse potentially if it ever gets into fights. And also, it just looks precious. like this could be the new best boy of Robot Wars Omega. It's just precious. I love this thing. But even though that was the last robot I made this year, I didn't want to save it for last because, well, there is one robot that I absolutely want to save for last. So, Matilda, the house robot, has now sadly been retired. Yeah, I felt that with the rest of my house robots being customs, she just didn't fit at all. So I just retired her. She's now sitting at the top of my top of this bookshelf that you see right before you. But that means I had to make a new house robot, and I did. Say hello to Crimson. Yep, here she is. Yep, it is a she. Because the rest of my house robots are dudes, so why not make a female one? And yeah, here she is. With a extremely powerful front hinge launcher, more than anything else. It doesn't flip things, it kind of more throws things against the wall. It's got some eyes at the side, it's got a rear spinning propeller, which is actually the spinner off of Sonic 12 XL, which, rest in peace, Sonic 12. It did not have a fun time when I moved house. Yeah, if you don't see a robot again, it's probably because they got absolutely battered when I moved house. But yeah, it's got a rear spinner at the back, which is really powerful. It's got a really good front hinge flipper, and it's really heavy as well because I fitted it with, I believe, 6 bearings off of a fidget spinner. So yeah, it's very heavy. It's very large. If I grab, say Rhino, sort of in the same scale as them really. So yeah, hopefully you'll be getting to see Crimson in action soon. It won't be until I get a new arena because like having house robots in what is essentially this small arena, I mean, I did it before and it didn't work then, so it's not going to work now. But yeah, hopefully you'll be seeing Crimson in action soon. So yeah, that essentially really does it for this video. Might as well grab the rest of the house robots. And well, yeah, what is going to be going on with this channel really? And it's like with For the Gold and everything. And I said For the Gold would be the next Robot Wars Omega video, but I decided to push it back until I get a new arena because I think having the 4th series in, yeah, is going to be a bit lackluster really. And I do want For the Gold to be the best series I've done. So I'm going to wait until I move house and make a new arena, specifically for the Gold. But just to sort of buy your time, there will be 3 upcoming specials, 2 in your house events, and a special New Year's special, which I'm not going to say what it is, but you will definitely find out soon enough. It will be an international event though. That's all I'll give you. But anyway, yeah, that does it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please do give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Also, join the Discord server and follow me on Twitter as well, if you so like to. And until next time, the bot builder out.